What does Tom Brady do from here? He knew that if he lost last night, that would be the first question. So he knows how to handle this stuff. This is, as we know, not his first rodeo. And he also saw the last 10 days how Aaron Rodgers' actions on the field in Lambeau, leaving the field at Lambeau, stepping to the podium inside the depths of Lambeau, how those were parsed. So here was Brady when asked about his decision-making process, and, of course, he kind of shut it all down.
What is your process from here when you start to think about what you want to do next? Because obviously it's going to be huge speculation.
I'm going to go home and get a good night's sleep as good as I can tonight. And
Or when you want to take a step out? I mean, that was first.
No, I'm not. This has been a lot of focus on, this game. So, yeah, it's just be one day at a time, truly.
Truly one day at a time. He almost went like his full process. Then I'll wake up the next day, I'll grab a blender, I'll get some TB12 mix, protein mix, and then cut off the ends of the banana. I'll put the banana in. It's like, no, that's not what we're asking.
Blueberries, electrolytes.
It's not what we're asking. Are you going to keep playing or not? Are you going to play here or not? Are you going to go to Fox or not? What are you going to do? Tom, we got to know. So time to start parsing everything, including the way he left the podium last night.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and you guys got a tough job, and I appreciate all that you guys do to cover us and everyone who watches and is a big fan of the sport. We're very grateful for everyone's support, and hopefully, I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me, all you regulars, and just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
High class stuff, man. I love that guy. So so he said it's a great organization to play for, the Buccaneers. And then if he had left it at that, you could even say, well, of course, then maybe he'll want to stay. And then he said, thank you all for welcoming me. That sounds like a closing line. Or putting it out there, should this be the last time, if you want to keep even a door open for Tampa? And that also belies the fact that he hasn't thought about it. I also noticed as he came off the field last night, you see, he gave his mom and dad were there, where the rest of his family gave him a kiss.
Yep.
I just love the Brady family. I ran into his parents in the streets in Atlanta after they beat the Rams.
Oh.
And his dad was wearing one of his Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
And they were just ecstatic. They're just good people. At any rate, here's what it's all going to come down to. It's all going to come down to two things. First, he has to decide if the way that he is playing is something that he finds tenable and is meeting his standard of excellence. Only he knows. Only he knows when he sees the film, how did I not see that? I used to see that for 20-something years. Only he knows, how did that ball skip? Because I got it there for 20-something years. Like, what? Only he knows if that's a physical limitation or a mental limitation or a processing limitation. Only he knows. I mean, we can all 22 stuff and say, well, he normally would have done this or that. Only he knows in his heart of hearts, whether it's meeting his standard or not. That's it. Only he knows. And also his pride messing with his mind, where he goes back home, his whole family's there in Santa Clara, and he gets beat by Brock Purdy. Or, he gets one and done for the fourth time in his career in the playoffs. By the way, he got one and done. The last time he was one and done was his last game in New England. And so, things are happening that don't happen to him. Losing records, for instance. Is that something that his pride can deal with, walking away with this being the end, where these things are happening that never happened to him? Can his pride handle that years from now and in short term? Or his pride can't handle it if he goes to somewhere else and tries it? These are only questions he can answer. That's it. And speak to his inner circle, who I imagine, based on the way his plans got out last year, will be the tightest of rotations this time around. you know. And he's going to go through that process if he already hasn't, or he already knows, and he just doesn't want to share it right now because he wants to deal with it himself. Because in addition, what is the other aspect of this that's part of the equation is what he can't control. He can't control whether somebody is willing to take him on, because that is part of this equation. If not Tampa, where I imagine he's kind of done with everything, then who? Who wants to take TB12 on at age 46? And I say that with the ultimate of respect. My God, do I say that? Honestly, like I said at the top of the show, will we ever see somebody again who matches his age with the amount of attempts that's asked of him? Because the team knows it's not going to be a physical limitation for him. Think about that. 66 throws as a 45-year-old man,
Crazy.
and not a single time did I sit there and think, old man's not going to hold up. We take it for granted that he's able to do it. You know, and when he says it takes day by day, he's going to have to wake up today. I can't imagine he's not sore.
Yeah, that shoulder.
You know what I mean? Like, we just take it totally for granted that he looks like this. And that's part of the process that only he can, think about, because he can do his best to control it and ward it off based on the way he lives his life and treats his body. But what he can't control is who's gonna disrupt their plan at quarterback. Who's going to also not move forward with a page turned for a new quarterback, like, say, Las Vegas, right? Or the Dolphins. Name another team, right? What team could are the Niners? We're sitting here watching the Brock Purdy story blossom before our eyes, and the only two magic carpet rides that this storyline has a trajectory that could be remotely close to it or similar to it is Kurt Warner and Brady. Warner undrafted, Brady in the 6th round. Out of the blue, wins it all. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody thought it could be possible. And he's in between undrafted and 6th round, right there at the last pick of the 7th round. Would the Niners really, with Lance recovering and Purdy blossoming, say, yeah, Tom, I think it's time for you to live out your childhood dream. Let's run it back with you. Honestly, like what the Rams? With the Rams, I mean, you keep hearing Stafford's name is mentioned as being elsewhere. I doubt it. Tennessee, you're hearing Tennessee. Okay, Tannehill's moved on. Would Tom really run it back with Traylon Burks? And I say this with all due respect. Like, when he goes to Tampa, part of the reason he goes to Tampa is there's Evans and Godwin. Like, right. You got to have people like Devontae Adams, I'm sure, has him at hello.
Yeah.
Okay, but
absolutely.
And the system that McDaniels runs, we have no idea.
Darren Waller, Hunter
right,
Renfrow.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
right, and they're ready, and I bet you the Vegas Raiders, according to Dana White, were ready to do this a couple years ago. Anyway, that's my point. Is there's two things to it. One, only he knows, and that's how his level of play sits with him. And how sustainable he thinks his standard of excellence can be met by his abilities. And his ability to continue to live his life and treat his body the way that it does, to think that it can last longer. Only he knows that. Only he can do the evaluation. That's it. And then there's the other aspect that he can't control. Who will do it and partner up with him? And how long of a commitment does he need to give that team for them to say, okay? Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.